Happy Witches. It's Taya. Today I want to talk a little bit about coming out of the broom closet and how I did that. And I'd like to sort of preface this with the idea that this is more for adult practitioners. If you're under 18, things might be different for you. I'd encourage you to be open with your parents, but you need to gauge if that's possible or not. And I just encourage you to, really think about your situation and how that works for you. For the rest of you who are over 18, I still would encourage you to use some discretion. Your situation is unique to you. You know your employer, your spouse, your extended family, your friends, your community supports, and you need to gauge your situation for yourself and whether or not it's a good idea for you to come out. But generally speaking, I think for most of us, especially those of us who live like in North America, in Europe, who are, part of developed countries and are, there's no reason for us not to be out. So there are ways to make that transition. And I think for me, that's the biggest idea, is it's a transition. It's not a statement. You don't need to make a big announcement on social media to all of your friends and family and randomly accumulated acquaintances. You don't see people being like, guess what, everybody, I'm a Buddhist. I'm Jewish. Like, it just doesn't, right? What they post is in line with what they believe. And I would encourage you to sort of do something similar, but you don't need to make a big announcement. Now, as far as announcements go, you might want to have a more formal discussion with maybe your spouse or your children, especially if you have older children. Right? The people that you live with who might be affected by your practice on a day-to-day basis, you might want to have a discussion with them that goes something like, hey guys, so I've been kind of into this witchcraft thing for a year, for a few months, whatever, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really wanting to sort of explore and develop my spirituality a little bit more. So you might see me doing some stuff like, celebrating the full moons, etc., whatever it is that you're kind of up to. And I just want to let you guys know that, I don't have secrets, and if you have questions, feel free to ask. But for the most part, I think it's really about being unapologetic about who you are and what you do. So go about your life, celebrate your seasons, do your witchy thing, put on your witchy jewelry, whatever makes you comfortable. And if or when someone asks, just be honest and upfront about what's going on. So when your girlfriend calls and she's like, oh, Luna's moving the camera. Luna. Silly girl. So when your girlfriend calls and she's like, hey, let's go for coffee tomorrow, and you had plans to celebrate the new moon, instead of going, oh, you know what, I'm busy, I can't, let's do it another day, it goes more like, oh, you know what, it's the new moon tomorrow and I've got a thing I gotta do. Could we do it another time? And either she's going to say, yeah, okay, let's go Friday instead. Or she'll be like, oh, you're doing something for the new moon? Like, what's that? And now you have her permission to have a conversation with her about, well, I've been into that witchcraft thing for a couple of months, for a year, whatever. And, I'm just really enjoying it. And that's one of the things I like to do is celebrate the new moon. I set some intentions for the next moon cycle. And it's just a really great chance for me to sort of get grounded and, bask in the moonlight, whatever it is that you're up to. And again, she'll either go, oh, okay, well, we'll go for coffee on Friday, or she'll be like, oh, that's really cool, tell me more. And you have her permission to have that conversation. That's why I really love wearing witchy jewelry. So I have my big pentacle ring. It opens so many conversations. And for most people, they're going to see it. It kind of gives them an idea of what I'm up to, what I'm about. But what I tend to get is people go, oh, that's a cool ring. And I could be like, okay, thanks, and just wander off. Or I'll say, thanks, do you have one like it? And typically they'll say something along the lines of either, well, no, but my friend does, or, oh, no, but my girlfriend does, or whatever. Or they'll be like, oh, I do, well, mine's a necklace, or whatever. And then I get to say, oh, cool, so are you a pagan too? I don't tend to be like, oh, are you a witch too? Because again, that's like, if you think about Christians, typically if you see somebody wearing a cross, right, they wouldn't be like, oh, are you a Jehovah's Witness too? She'd be like, oh, are you Christian too, right? We know that people who wear crosses are Christian. We know that people that wear pentacles are typically pagan. I know not everybody identifies that way, but majority of the time it's somebody's going to identify as pagan, and then you can drill it down to what exactly their practice is. So just that kind of an idea, right? It's about entertaining conversations instead of shutting them down or avoiding them. And it's hard to do without feeling like, wow, I'm like gonna vomit information on people. But it does get easier. So practice it, right? Practice those conversations in the back of your head. It's funny, this whole idea kind of on how to do this transition came to me when I was sitting at a work event. And there was two women on either side of this big round table. And one of them, she had a lovely cross on, and the girl said to her, "Oh my God, I love your cross. It's beautiful. Where did you get it?" And she's like, "Oh, I got it here and here." And instantly the two of them were connected because they knew they had something in common. The other girl wasn't wearing a cross, but you knew that she was probably a Christian, and these two had something in common because she noticed this piece of jewelry on the other girl. And that's really as simple as it is. If one faith can sort of sit and discuss, right? If you say, "Hey, can we go, yesterday, hey, like, let's go for coffee." "Oh, I can't. It's Shrove Tuesday. I'm doing pancakes with the family," right? So it's kind of somewhat similar, but just use your pagan track instead. So anyways, it's not about big announcements. It's just about living authentically to yourself and just being honest and upfront about what you're doing and what you're about. And I think it just comes across in your life, and the people that you're meant to have those conversations with will find you. And it's really just about having those conversations and being truthful. And if people don't want to know, trust me, they don't ask. So that is, oh, Luna's got the camera again. That is sort of a little bit about coming out of the broom closet and my thoughts on that transition and what it can look like. And yeah, just living authentically and sharing your voice with the world. All right, thanks guys. We'll see you in the next one.